Another very short one, Easton red cedar. So even though I have bronchitis, I went in the woods today. That piece of property that's sold and the trees are going to come down. And I got more Easton red cedar juniper. I found a single mulberry tree that I got a stave out of. And I have a black locust. So those, and then I have a couple of more juniper logs outside and a maca nut hickory log outside. So for being sick, I did a lot. This is that Easton red cedar that I took out of the woods the other day before the storm came. It's still raining. Did a lot today while it's raining. It's supposed to have been a northeaster. I'm glad it's just a storm. And I cleaned up the back of this Easton red cedar. All right, check out this 61-inch Easton red cedar juniper that I shaped and sanded. See the thin limbs? It's going to be got a little twist on the end here. That's going to have to be corrected. And I'm going to fire harden this within the next week probably. And I'm going to see it bends really easy, you know. I got a floor tilled. And after I fire harden it, I'm going to see how it feels like the weight-wise. And what I may do is, I'm not sure yet, is I have elk backstrap sinew that I took apart enough to cover this bow. And I may use the Knox gelatin again because I kind of like the way that came out. And put that elk backstrap sinew on with the Knox gelatin and let it sit for a few months. But we'll see. I'm going to see what kind of weight I get after I fire harden this. And I'll put it down. I'll tiller it a little bit and then decide what I'm going to do. Once these coals catch, we're going to be fire hardening this beautiful Easton red cedar bow blank. And what I want to discuss is the proper height. Keith Shannon came up with this. You take the palm of your hand, you go underneath the riser, and you count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I have this set already. But if it was 1, 2, it would be too hot, and you'd have to raise it or knock down coals. If you went under and it was 1, 2, 3, 4, then the coals either have to catch or you got to lower it a little bit, okay? So that's the best way, and you got to have common sense when you do this. Put your palm underneath the limb. You don't want to get burnt. If you don't have common sense, don't do this, okay? And you can't measure from the coals to the bow because temperature and wind affect that. You can't go with a thermometer because as you get close, it's going to skyrocket. So that's the best way of having the correct temperature. It has a lower combustion rate. And sometimes these softer woods will start smoking. And you have to pay attention to make sure that when you put coals on or add coals, that it's the coals smoking and not the wood. Because once the wood starts smoking, you have to give it a little mist and raise it up a little bit. And then once it cools off, it's a game. You go up and down, trying to get that temperature and trying to get that wood to cook. All right, so that's all I wanted to tell you. That Easton red cedar is one of the ones that have a lower combustion rate, and it will smoke on you. Okay, just want to show you, we got a little smoke coming out of the bottom of this Easton red cedar. So we're going to raise it up, and I'm going to give it a little spray. And we're going to let it cool a little bit, and then put it down again and keep an eye on it. Just a reminder, whenever you fire harden any wood, that you constantly check the clamps, and you don't want to tighten them. You just want to make sure they're snug, because as they heat up, the limbs heat up, moisture will come out, they'll shrink, and you have this backset jig for two reasons, for a backset and for a limb alignment. And you don't want to become so loose that the clamps fall off and everything you did to get it in alignment falls apart before it takes a set. So just turn it a little bit, and I just grip it and lightly turn it. And if my hand slips, it's snug. You just want it snug. That's all, okay? So monitor that often. And because it's, I had it high for a while because it was smoking and lower, time really isn't that important again. But I had a little higher, so I'm going to show you what it looks like about 45 minutes. At the 45-minute point. It's been 45 minutes. We're going to put it up and take a look at the bottom. Starting at the riser, going to the right, there's a very little bit of color. Going back to the riser, to the left, only a very little bit of color. I added coals, and now I have to watch as the coals catch that the wood's not smoking and it's the coals. And with that gutter system I have, because I have a bad back, it's really nice working up in the air like that. But this will be the third bow that I'm cooking today, and that's kind of the limit because it fills up with ash. So you see the coals are a little higher. So that's it. And I just figured I'd give you a heads up. That's like, if you make one of these, they're great. But you know, after you could do like 3 bows, and then that's it. Too much ash, you build up too much coals. Remember, keep checking those clamps. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. And I'm going to put it up and show you what it looks like. From the riser going to the right, we're starting to get a little color. From the riser going to the left, we're starting to get a little color right down to the tips. I added some coals, knocked some ash around, and I'll show you in another half hour what it looks like. I had to put my phone inside the charge, so I'm going to wait to the 2.5 hour mark and show you what it looks like. It is getting a little darker as the time goes on. Almost at that 2.5 hour mark, and I'm going to put it up and I'll show you on the table what it looks like. But sometimes these softer woods like juniper, after you, when you start to tilling them, sometimes you look at it and you say, wow, I removed a bit of the fire hardening. And sometimes it's a good idea to fire harden it one more time, because it's a little dance between the smoking going up and down, and we got color throughout the limbs. But like I said, sometimes, and you could tell, like when you start tillering and you get that nice bend with the yardstick, if you're losing all the fire hardening, maybe you should fire harden it one more time. But the most important thing is, if you do that, you got to take that whole day. You got to hydrate it. Got to pour water on it with the wet rag, and you got to let it stay overnight. You got to be real careful if you fire harden any of these woods twice, that you hydrate them and you let it go for a day to get that moisture to go through the wood. Okay, so I'll show you soon what it looks like on the table. This is 2.5 hours of cooking, and we got a nice dark color on the belly, and we're going to let it cool. Just came off the coals, and once it cools, we're going to hydrate it, and put it in the house to let the moisture go through the bow overnight. I don't know when I'm going to get to till of this. The mulberry bow is on the top of the list, followed by the black locust. And this one, I'm going to start the tillering process and decide whether I'm going to sinew back it. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what pops up on the next video. It's going to be a tillering, and either a tillering and sinew backing, or just a tillering and shaping and shooting video. Fairly level. Here's the belly of the bow, toasted. It's the back of the bow. Back of the bow has some knots and different things in it. I may start the tillering process, getting it to flex a little bit, and then I'll sinew back it. I think that's going to be the plan for this bow. And I'll put a little small shelf in here a small shelf because I like shooting off the shelf. I'll have a grip. And even though I think this is 61 inches, you know, you hear people all the time, oh, a sinew bow should be shorter. Well, if you have a bend true to handle bow where you don't have the riser, okay, you could take 7.5 inches off of that 61, and that's what I got. But adding this little 7.5 inch riser, or 7 inch, whatever it came out to now, extends the limbs, allows me to come back to my short 26.5 inch draw, and I'll have a shelf. Okay. Now with all fire hardening, again, I'm going to show you what the most important thing is to keep these bows from breaking while you're tillering it. Is you get a soaking wet rag. Look, see the water? Soaking wet, dripping. Okay, and you're going to hydrate this, hydrate it. I'm going to hydrate this several times during the course of the evening now, and then put it in the house and let it acclimate and let it absorb some of that moisture. Okay, so that's the end of this fire hardening, you know, video here. It's from an Easton red cedar log to a fire hardened bow blank, and the next video will be, at some point I'm going to sinew back it probably, and I'm going to tiller it a little. I'll put a string on it, just get it bending a little bit, just get a rough tiller, you know, just flex it a little bit, and then I'll sinew back it. I believe that's the plan. But, you know, plans change. All right. So thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for my other videos. And every day you wake up is a great day. Do something. Make the best of your day. Thanks for watching.